Hola. Okay, why is this doing this? Let's see. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Um, Alrighty. Give me a second, y'all. Because StreamYard is not allowing me to. I'm going to put a temporary banner up real quick because I need to do something on. All right, I'm just going to put that one up for now. I need to see what's going on over here. Okay, on my computer, it seems like it's still broadcasting to Facebook. Let me just check my Facebook real quick. Okay, no, I'm not live over on Facebook. Okay, it's telling me that it lost connection with my Facebook page. So we're going to see. Bring up Facebook. But hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? As you come in, drop a hey, how you know. I know it said it was having an issue earlier. I guess it's still having an issue connecting with Facebook via StreamYard. So, okay. I guess it's still having that issue with connecting to Facebook profiles. Alrighty. I can do my Facebook business page. I just can't do um
garage door.
Okay, why do I have two versions of this? Okay, I don't know. But anywho, it's okay. Hola, hola, hola. Incredible greetings. Oh, see, I was supposed to be off of this by now. There we go. I only have one monitor that I'm working with right now, so I have to utilize my phone too so that you're not looking at the screen that's just repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. All right, let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Welcome in, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday, and I just finished lunch. I was gonna try and do 12. And I was like, okay, well, let's get started at like 1 o'clock ish, so I can eat lunch. This is our weekly Q&A. I didn't do one on Wednesday. MJ had a basketball game, and I also had a one-on-one session, so I wasn't able to do the Q&A help session on Wednesday, but it's Friday. 1 o'clock should be a good time. I mean, East Coast may not be on lunch, but some of the other time zone, and a lot of times I'm catering to East Coast, and then it's like weird hours for all the other time zones. So hopefully some of our West Coast folk can participate in some of the other time zone, maybe sneak in, while you're on your lunch break at work if you are at work today. But this is our Q&A session, our weekly help session. I haven't been able to really do them as much lately. A lot has been going on, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things to doing the Q&A sessions. But also it's been, kind of slower over here. I do spend a lot more time over on the other app, TikTok, but we know everything that's going on with that. I'm like, I definitely need to make sure I'm still present, on this platform just in case something wonky happens with that particular application. But yeah, it's been, they're a little bit more active over on the Tickety Talk. It's been pretty quiet over on Facebook and YouTube, at least for those of you guys who actually catch my content when I am going live and, just being willing to share my experiences, answer questions for you guys, help you get a better understanding of some of the things that are trending that you may want to try, that you're not quite sure of. Maybe you haven't found the right video, the answers. We do these Q&A sessions to be able to help you guys. Everything that is shown during these sessions is based off of your questions. If there are no questions, it's going to be a really boring session because I don't come in with anything planned to necessarily teach. I'm going off of questions and questions only, preferably from, I would like it to be from the audience. If I have to kind of go into my groups or go into other groups and answer questions that I see there, I mean, I could, but I like to answer questions in real time. All right. So with that being said, the floor is open. Feel free to, start putting your questions in the comments. I'm going to go over and share what I can over on Facebook and get a few more people in the room. But for those of you guys who are watching, whatever question you have, if you've done a YouTube search, a Google search recently, if, it's just things in the group and it makes you go, and you've kind of had those thoughts of, who, what, when, where, how, the questions that we learn when we're kids. If you've had those questions, just looking at posts in groups, troubleshooting, business, websites, marketing, branding, just new creative ideas, you're stuck, feel free to go ahead and post them as a comment on this video. Okay. Let's see. Before I go share, I see one here. Do you know if you can put DTF on the drawstring backpacks? I know you can sublimate them. DTF is actually you apply it at a lower temp and a faster time. So being the fact that you can sublimate to it, you can use DTF prints on it. I just dropped my phone. I have done DTF on colored drawstring bags a couple of times. The hardest part of it is actually the drawstrings and being able to protect those so that they don't melt. Some of them are not, like, all bags are not created equal. Some of them will burn under the heat press because they're meant more so for like screen printing, and then it's not direct heat onto it. When they're putting it through the conveyor dryer, it's not direct heat, so it doesn't really affect the strings. And that's more so like what they were kind of sort of created for. Whenever you're doing any heat applied application, you have to do a test of them first, just to make sure that certain components of it will not melt underneath the heat. Hey. No, there is no fix for it. That's why we don't sell them anymore. Whatever we have is what we have. If you have the I'll say if you have the 7820, 7840, you can roll back the firmware, which if you have a 7820 or 7840 and you've purchased chips from us, we can send you the instructions on how to roll back your firmware. If you have the 7310, there is no fix because there's no instruction on basically how to roll it back for the 7310. All right, Let me see. I gotta try and share this. There we go. Share. All right, we are back. Hey, 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 incredible greetings. All right, so we have a few more people coming in. I'm going to go ahead and just redo the introduction so you guys know what is going on. I am Shakeya, the professor of HS Ink 365. Yes, right now you just see the banner of our website just kind of going back and forth. Because I don't have a camera here, so you can't see like my face. And that was just on there as we were sharing it out and things of that nature. But I'm answering questions, whether it's about websites, if it's about Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, designing different projects, things that are trending that you're seeing in groups, and you have questions about them. If you just kind of wanted just get some direction, maybe on what else you need to research or look for to learn how to do certain things. We are well versed in a lot of things, everything from balloons to party favors to printables to sublimation, eco solvent, doing banners and vinyl and canvases, using Canva, Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, Illustrator, on the business side. And all, when I have these Q&A sessions, all topics are open. You can pretty much ask a question about anything that you need help on, getting help from someone who has been in the design industry as far as creating graphic designs and just doing all these different creative things for well over 20 years. Someone who is doing exactly what you want to, or has been very successful in what you're wanting to build your business on. If you are stuck, if you have frustrations, if you're confused, this is where you get unstuck. Let your research start here. If sometimes you'll go in groups like, oh, whatever, did you do any research, or go research it? But sometimes you just don't know what to research. This is where that starts. And it doesn't have to be like a full-on thought. Most times, if you just kind of give me, just a good idea of what it is you're trying to do, I can kind of figure it out and lead you in the right direction as well. So we are here to be able to help. This session gets very boring. It'll be quiet if there are no questions on the floor. I know some of you guys are just eager. Oh, I'm here to learn whatever you want to show me. I don't just show you anything in these sessions. They are help sessions. This is a Q&A session. I am here to be able to help you exactly where you need help at. Now, one person's question will help the masses. This is true, but I don't come prepared with, a lesson plan or something to show. Like I did earlier today. Earlier, we did a live video and I was showing about, understanding your SVG files, just understanding your files in general, depending on how you plan to use it. We talked about like lines of demarcation and using edit points. That was something that was planned out. But whenever we do help sessions, it's all based on your questions. So you guys have to be interactive and you have to ask questions. If there are none, then we'll close out. But I do want to be able to help and assist my community. I was thinking of converting a printer to eco-solvent printer, trying to decide if it's a good idea, not sure why I want to do it. I remember you talking about it a while ago. Well, the only thing that you can use a converted eco-solvent printer for is for HTV. So I probably talked about it in the sense of other people were asking about which printers you can. I personally don't really use my eco-solvent printer for printable HTV to do shirts. I'm like, there's so many other ways. I'll do it as a last minute thing or like as a last resort. If I have a last minute shirt, or if I like maybe like it's just like a one-off and I don't really like, if I don't have glitter HTV or something like that, or if it's for a guy, he doesn't want, glitter HTV. But now that Econo Transfer has Econo Sub, so I'll take you guys over there. Let me go to my bit.ly real quick. Econo. Oh. Okay, wait a minute. I'm messing up all the way around. There we go. Econo Sub. So we're just going to copy that. And then I'll paste it in a minute for you guys. Oh, actually, I can't do it from here. Well, look, y'all going to have to just look at this being all cuckoo crazy for now. We're going to go to the comments and just drop it in the comments. It really sucks only having one monitor, but I'm on like a little makeshift desk, so I can't bring my two monitors. But ever since like this one, and they have the satin, they also have a fabric, but my favorite is the satin and the flock. They do have a fabric one, they have like a vinyl one. I don't necessarily really use these two because this one I can't use my regular method of like cutting it, putting it to the shirt, and then putting the sub print on top. You have to print directly to it. So I'm not a big fan of that one. But these three up here, and they also now have a block, which is a really thick vinyl. I haven't used that one yet, but with these, I absolutely love them. And I do it the same way I would do glitter HTV. So that's my go-to method for things like that. I'm just not big on the eco solvent prints for HTV. I got my eco solvent printer so that I can do adhesive, like printing to adhesive vinyl, whether it's for decals, like die cut decals, or if it's for my yard signs and things of that nature. And you cannot do that with the converted ones. Unfortunately, I do not, because they switched over to a new system and I didn't really see the email in time. I could probably go back through the process and become an affiliate, but that was a mistake on my part, to where they switched over their system. So all the old codes and things, they just don't work anymore because they switched over to a new system. She says, I'm not sure why I want to do it. Anyone else have questions for the professor? Whether it's Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, Canva, different printers, print methods, screen print transfers, branding, marketing, all of that. I have a question. Please help me with this. Thank you for letting me know that you're about to post a question, because I was like, okay, if there's no questions, I'm out of here, but I will wait for you to post your question. If DTF feels like vinyl, why not sublimate on vinyl? Because most people don't want to have to line it up to make sure that you don't have white along the edges. Also, the crop factor. So I'm not cropping. I said cropping, weeding. So when you're doing vinyl, you're still going to have to weed out all of the inner pieces. If you have a design that has a lot of inner spots, like inner areas, you have to weed all of that. If you have something that has very thin areas, it's not going to like maybe weed as well. So it's more so the weeding component and not having to weed, as well as um, it lining up. So if you were to print, because I mean, some of them you can print directly to like the sublimation vinyl and then just cut it. Print and cut isn't always, accurate. And I don't like doing bleeds um, for full on graphics. Now, if it's a solid color, print bleeds, they work amazing if it's a solid color. When you're talking about something that is a full-on design or it's somebody's picture, you don't get, the edges expanded. It looks very, very weird. So even if it cuts off, like it's not lined up correctly and it goes into that bleed, it's still going to look weird because it's not an extension of the design. So I'm just not a big fan of that in general. So when you are cutting it and then you have to line it up, even if you do print and cut, if it's like a lot of loose pieces, there's a certain way that you have to do that, or you have to cut out little notches by hand. Some people are not great with cutting, like feel like they're not great with cutting with scissors. Then you have to go and like line it up. So it can be a lot of work. I would not ever recommend doing that for a large number of shirts. So if you got a good little amount, DTF prints are going to be the better option. Oh, that's the wrong way of thinking. I am an advocate for outsourcing. I'm a major, 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 major advocate for outsourcing. Trying to keep 100% of the profits means that you also have to do 100% of the work, which means you're going to end up doing a lot of tasks that don't really equate to good money for what you have to do. So doing a lot, I'm actually a person where I don't mind weeding. I actually like HTV. I don't mind weeding. I don't see that as this just major burden unless it's something that's like really, really intricate, of course. But just like your regular basic stuff, like I will weed all day long. Like it's no problem for me. Some people see that as this just laborious task. And if you are spending a lot of time weeding, it's hard to justify that in cost. I can do a one-on-one session, like a basic one, and it's $50 an hour. If I'm doing like business ones for like my community, those who are like beginner crafters and things like that, I'm doing like a business session, kind of really just helping them with their business. Like my rates can be up to $200 for an hour. So for my time for an hour, I can make anywhere on the lower end 1563, for really, really simple, basic tasks, all the way up to 200. So if it takes me an hour to do manual labor, just the weeding part, I'm gonna like, look, I can be doing something else that's gonna make me money. So why would I sit here when the equivalent of this is me making like less than minimum wage almost? That's just not an efficient use of my time. I can be doing something else. I prefer to design. The bulk of my money comes in from my actual graphic designing, not a lot of like the printing. Okay, I can apply it to things. And when I have my classes on business and pricing and things like that, I teach my students about that, about putting fees and putting amounts to the things that you actually do so that you never feel like you're not making money. If you're not the person that's printing it, you also don't have to worry about keeping the supplies in stock, figuring out where you're going to store these supplies at so that you kind of have them at the ready. Then you have to worry about maintenance and the downtime for maintenance. No one's technically paying you to maintain your printer, but that is a part of work. So if it takes you an hour, 2 hours to maintain your printers, who's paying for that? Whereas a company where that is their dedicated thing, they've built that into their pricing model. So I'll let you handle that because I don't want to have to stop my true money making task to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm an advocate for outsourcing. Like I'm going to recommend outsourcing all day, every day. All I wait, keep all money. If I have 10 shirts, I'm going to order transfers. So if it's like, well, so if it's just 10 shirts and it's a full color, full graphic type design, then yes, I say order transfers. DTF can be a little bit, um, it can be a little bit harder to properly price for DTF because of the sizing, and it's not very consistent. One order, depending on how large the design is, one order of like a DTF gang sheet, you could be paying, it can come out to $2 a transfer. If only so many can fit on there, it might come out to $5 a transfer. So when you're doing DTFs, it's not something that you can kind of just put that on your website unless you are, unless you are someone that maybe has a converted one and you're basing everything off of printing to 13 by 19 DTF film. Then you can get a better handle of it. Like no matter what size it is, I have to print it to this size film. I'm going to charge based off of printing. I'm going to do it as if I'm printing to a whole 13 by 19 film. If you're ordering from a company where it's by the sheet, you're now limited in size, but you're going to know exactly how much that costs. And you can have that like on your website, on your order form, and have an exact cost to it. I know customers don't like it when you say, okay, hey, they like, you have to give them a quote. You have to go take out the information and then get back with them. They say, okay, well, what is the price? And it's like, okay, well, you have to contact me. I know that they don't understand that, which is why I recommend to my students have a starting at. If our DTF shirts or our shirts start at whatever that number is, that way they automatically know if you are outside of their price range. But doing something like DTF, you really, really need to get the information, kind of maybe figure out like a little rough draft of, think about like how big would the design be, width and height. Just kind of mark it out on your page to see how many you will be able to fit onto a standard DTF gang sheet transfer, which most companies are at about 22 inches wide, which means really only have 21 and a half to be on the safe side so that you're not so close to that line that prints with all those colors on it. So about 21 and a half, 21 and 3/4, not quite 22 inches is what you have to work with. Well, if you have designs that are really wide, and you're talking about 13 inches, if you don't already have something to go in that other area, that then becomes a waste. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to just turn off, I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to make this 21.5. Okay. And I'll just go 36. So we're going to go 1 yard. If you have something that is, let's say, let me see, what do I have over here that, no, I don't think any of this is anything that's like a design. Let me pull up something. Let's see. What can I pull up? This was one from this was a class that I did and someone asked about that. I don't want to use that. Okay, let's use, what do I want to use? I don't know why I'm stressing over this so much. Oh, here. Let's use our Jackson State word art print. All right, we're going to group that together and copy and paste. All right. Oh, wait, why does this have ungroup? Why do you have a big old white? Oh, okay, I know why that's there. Okay. So I'm just going to I have to leave this like this. All All right, so let's say with this is 11.5 inches wide, right? I'm going to just make another one, and we'll probably make this a little bit bigger. So at 11.5 inches wide, if I make this, if I do two of them or try and do two, it's going to fall outside of our 22 inches. Even if I were to make this 22 inches, I still would not be able to fit, even if I got to bring this closer to here. Let's see. Some people try and squeeze it right to the edges. All right, you know what? Let's just do this. Ungroup. Dang it, I can't. Okay, no, it did come off. All right. I was like, what the world? Bring to the front. Or did I do it in the background? I don't know. I'm not going to use that one. I'm just going to use this part right here, just so that I can line it up. So this is actually like 10. So at this size, it would fit, right? I'm going to delete these, duplicate this. I'll make this about like 11.5. So at 10 inches wide, I could fit two on here at this size. But if I did a bigger size, I can't even fit this one and then like a smaller 10 inch. It has to be something that's significantly smaller. If you have no need, like let's say all of their shirts were extra larges to 3Xs, and you really have no need for this side over here, you're going to want to have something that can be a filler that's going to be great for you, whether it is shirts for yourself, if it is like neck labels. You should always have something available to put as a filler on your DTF gang sheets, because there's no limit in colors. Like, it's just a regular printer. So it doesn't matter what that is, something that you know that you're going to use all the time. If you just want to put, just words on it, whether it's faith-based or whatever, you should always. So let that be your pro tip for today. If you are somebody that's doing DTF prints, you should always have something available that you can easily pop in. You don't want to spend too much time trying to resize and figure this, figure that. Like, you don't want to do it on the go, like while you're planning it out, because now you're going to be looking for this file, looking for that file. You're going to spend way too much time, and technically nobody is paying you for that, right? That's not billable hours. Nobody's paying for that time for you to kind of play around and figure out what's going to go there. Take some time, in your free time, whatever, when you have some downtime, think about things that, hey, I can use these all the time, even if it's a shirt that you want to make for yourself. If it's your favorite saying and you're like, man, I want this on, in different colors on a bunch of different shirts. Every time you have a DTF print, this is where you're going to make your free shirt, make your promotional shirt. I did a video where I talked about promotional stuff for the back. I don't go anywhere without having, like, if I know I'm going to be out and about, if I'm at my son's basketball games or whatever, if I'm at PTA or any other like meeting, sometimes I'm just going to Walmart, I'll have on a shirt that has my business information on the back. If I can advertise for all these other companies and wear their shirts, I should be able to advertise for myself. That is my way of thinking. So every time you have a print, if you have extra space, print something for yourself, print something for your business, have that ready to go to add to that DTF print, because this is now wasted space. It doesn't do you any good to just make this smaller if they're not going to purchase it. If they don't have a kid shirt, they don't need a kid shirt that's not in your order already, doing this is pointless. Unless you plan to upsell them and say, okay, hey, would you like a bag? Would you like this, that, if you maybe want to make custom bags and you're going to make it small because you're going to press it to the front of a paper bag or whatever. If you're going to use it that way to make custom packaging, go for it. Make it smaller where it's the same exact design. But if not, it becomes a wasted print if you're not upselling for whatever that added thing is. So if I'm doing, let's say they were this size, can I fit 4 on here for a 1 yard? Okay, yeah, so I can fit 4. So if the DTF printer was charging, let's say $25 for a 22 by 36, so 1 yard sheet, right? When I said, well, if you do 24, it's like they're like $6 a piece, right? If you do 24 divided by 4, so that's 6, or actually 25 divided by 4, so that's 625 is what that would end up being if you can fit 4 on there. But if you were only able to fit 2 for that particular order based on the size, if you were only able to fit 2, the cost of that print for that shirt now becomes $12.50. So if you were basing your prices off of, oh, the last time I did it, I got 4 on there, this is how much it was, or I had 6 on there, or I had 12 on there, or whatever, and it only cost me like, you break the math down, it's like $2. Well, now it's costing you $12 for just 2 prints. Even though you're putting stuff over there that's going to benefit you, you wouldn't be making that order for that print if it wasn't for their order. So now the starting price just for their print to go on their shirt is $12.50 for this print. Not including the shirt, not including you pressing it, not including your overhead, not including any type of business expenses. You are in for $12.50 for each one of those transfers because you can only fit 2 and you don't have any other orders. You putting fillers on there are not orders. So you cannot calculate those within that price. Make sense? So you have to be very, very mindful when it comes to doing DTF prints and thinking about how you're going to price it. Okay. She says, great tip. I'm guessing that's about the fillers. You are very welcome. Incredible greetings. All right. So, hello, Professor. Glad I caught you live. I converted an Epson 7720 and tried changing it back. It now makes a screeching sound and the message shows ADF, try all suggestions. So converting it back to a pigment ink printer would not affect anything on the inside as far as screeching noise because it would be just you taking the ink cartridges out, flushing out the lines, and then putting the pigment ink. That means something else, whether you converted it back or not, that ADF, which is your automatic document feeder, which I don't know why it's creating a screeching sound, and it's not working at all because your automatic document feeder is that little thing on top of the scanner where you would put your documents and you don't have to like use the flatbed. It would just feed it in to scan it. If it's not working, the whole printer itself is not working due to that, not much that you can do because that now becomes a hardware issue. That printer just might be a goner. Yeah, and you have to consider the shipping, which is why I like, there's a lot of people who are great businesses and I do my best to like support them and hey, make people aware of them. Like if you're in the South Carolina area, you have like True Prints and things like that. But for me, it's not justified in me kind of ordering from someone to have them ship them to me. I always recommend trying to find someone local. Do a search, people near me, call companies, find out, who like they have it, what's their rate. Call for a couple different companies to where the ship, even if they have to ship it out to you because they might be a little bit further than you want to drive, but it's still closer to where you'll get it next day. The shipping won't be so much because it's going to be in your local area. Things like that, I buy local. Like, I don't really like when people do my assignment is not local, it's global, because you miss out on so many people who are looking to shop local. So if you're not focused on capturing those local people, you could be losing out if your local people don't even know that you exist. So for DTF prints, although I I'm associated with, really good, I'm good friends with, and just kind of do collabs and stuff with a lot of DTF printers who are in other areas. I don't necessarily they're not my go-to. I don't order for them because I Love It Customs right here in Fort Lauderdale. I can order prints from her. I have Urban Prints, who is literally at my back, pretty much my front door. I'm gonna say my back door. He is at my front door pretty much. I have Florida Flex, and then a few others, but those are ones that I will frequent most often, depending on what I need or whatever. If I know that I'm doing a design for someone, I will send it to I Love It Customs and have my customer just pick it up from them, so they don't have to come all the way down to Miami. Thinking about things like that, it's going to make it really convenient for your clients. It makes them keep coming back because, again, my main thing is designing. My designs get put on other items, and I am glad that I'm able to put my designs, and I have the know-how to take my designs and put them on various things and use different print methods. But I guess you would say niche, my thing that people know me for is for designing, no matter what it goes on. So I'm never worried about, if I have them go pick it up directly from her shop, them they're going to cut me out. They're going to just go to that particular shop. I'm never worried about that because I know they're going to come to me more so for the design. So when you really are locked into what people know you for, you're never worried about losing customers and stuff like that. But I recommend finding you some places local to cut down on that shipping. Yeah, there's nothing like those 7710, 7720, 7210, 7610, 7620, 7110. It's nothing like those printers. The printers that Epson has now, they do not compare in any way, shape, or form. I was so heartbroken when they discontinued, and I finally got my hands on what their new one was. I was excited at first, but after actually using it, very, very underwhelmed. I have 2 of those things that I'm now just stuck with. When making grad fans, the higher the pounds, the better. Not necessarily, because if your printer cannot handle heavier cardstock, then it doesn't really help you any if yours can't handle that. I do what's called matting. So no matter what, I'm going to mat or glue 2 pieces of cardstock together, or I'm going to take my adhesive print and I'm going to put it to, I'm going to adhere it to a piece of cardstock. So I'm not going to say the heavier, the better, unless you were just trying to do one layer. I also put a skeleton in mine. I put a backing on mine. So mine has a lot of reinforcement, and I'm not looking for a super heavy cardstock. Then you have some people who will laminate it. And the laminate that they use will be a thicker laminate that's going to make it appear to be heavier than it is. So they'll take a thin piece of cardstock or paper. They're going to laminate, front and back, and not just the front, like when we do sublimation. And it's going to be a thicker one, and that's just going to give it a heavier feel. So nope, it does not have to be the heaviest possible cardstock. Great questions. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I want a fan that will blow over. Huh? But I'm just saying, you just want one that's heavier. So I'm not sure if you've seen my method with making fans. We just wrapped up the School of Grad Customs Master Program. You can still enroll in that. We do study hall sessions or help sessions. Right now, we're at every other week until May. In May, we'll have them every single week as we're leading up to grad season. So we don't have one this Sunday. I think, although it's on the schedule, I don't know. I might still do the one this weekend if I don't have too much going on. But technically, we had a session last week. So the last one of April was it'll be the 28th, I think, is what Sunday is. We technically aren't supposed to have a session, but I might still do that one. But starting in May, it will be one every single week up until the second week of June. And the way that I do mine, and I teach that, which you also can probably find on some of our YouTube videos, I put a skeleton on the inside. I have a structure on the inside, and it just gives it really good weight. I'm still having problems with cropping a photo to my grad stoles. I have the directions down, but I am missing something. Copy, paste in front, remove the color, select image, and crop. For some reason, it's not working. It has my image in the background like a shadow. So the things that you have in the background, that when you're copying, it cannot be something that's grouped together. It has to be just one layer, which is why the other instruction which you're missing in there is to copy, paste in front, and hit weld. Because if you have multiple items grouped to that background, it's not going to crop properly because you can only crop one to one. So, how you should be doing it and getting into the practice of, even if it's just one layer, it doesn't hurt anything to do it this way. Copy, paste in front, weld, remove color, select image, and then crop. I did not. It was supposed to just be. I was saying before it was every other Sunday, um, but then in May it will be every Sunday. So there's really no need for a schedule because it'll be every Sunday in May. But the schedule also is when you registered for the sessions, it listed all of the dates as well. Yep, that's the time. Well, also speaking of Zoom sessions, if you are someone who is interested in learning Photoshop, our Essentials of Photoshop class, we are now about to start up the live classes or live refresh. So if you took it last time, it's like a refresher. You're going to still have access to the last time that we did this. Like for anyone that signs up, you can go and start like watching those. But we are going to have 10 sessions because 2 of those sessions are going to be study hall sessions. They're just kind of built in. I'm not doing like dedicated ones, like one every single week. We're just going to do 2 within there. So we're going to end up doing 4 sessions. Well, probably we'll need to add like 11 sessions because I don't really want the last one to be the study hall session. But we're going to have basically some study hall sessions. I probably just need to add one more study hall session after the program wraps. But if you go on to our website, go to 365 or 365CA class and playbacks, our Photoshop essentials, you're going to see that, and you go to read more, that we have dates starting on May 25th all the way through June 15th. There are some Saturday days on there where we are going to go over Photoshop and learn the ins and outs of Photoshop that relate to what we do in our space as crafters or custom creators. There's a lot to Photoshop, and there's some things that, just starting off, you don't need to really focus on those so much. You're wanting to learn how to like enhance your images and, maybe fade things off, like those basic tasks. It will take years and years and years to really master Photoshop. It will take years, but this is going to be a great starting point because we're focusing on the essentials, and the essentials for things like t-shirt makers. If you're doing the like the grad boxes or the foam board, vending machine, or I use display box. I don't do the vending machine part, which also that is also on our website now too. So if we go over to HS Ink Digital, you're going to see that the templates for the foam board boxes is also on the website. We have 3 different sizes, the 8.5 by 11, 12 by 16, and 16 by 20, and then different widths. So a 12 by 16 by 4 by 6, a 16 by 20 by 4, 16 by 20 by 6, and then the 8.5 by 11 by 4. Or you can get the bundle that will include all 5 setups. So that is on the website as well. Okay. I don't do garden flags, so I don't have one that I prefer because I don't really do garden flags. I do yard signs, but I don't necessarily do garden flags. Well, the Creative Lounge was basically, it was, which I need to actually take that off of the website right now. It was me kind of I wanted to be able to have consistent sessions with those in the creative space to where we would meet every other day. But when we were doing them, people would come and say, I don't know, I don't have it. Like no one was really active and engaging. It wasn't necessarily like me just kind of coming and giving a full on lesson. When I had my sessions and we're kind of, just chit chatting and talking about different things, I was asking for topics. Like I can prepare, but I want to know what it is that you guys need to know. I've been in this 26 years. I don't really think like a beginner. I don't know what it is that you guys really, really want to focus on. Some of you guys will just blow with the wind. Right now, they saw one person do the grad archway. Now, everyone who has an 8.5-inch wide printer barely knows how to design, doesn't know how to cut properly, couldn't cut a straight line if their life depended on it. And I'm not trying to be mean about it, but this is like they say these things like, oh, I can't cut straight lines. I can't do this. I can't do that. But then they see these things and they don't want to build up to it. Oh my God, I want to make that. How do I do it? I mean, this is not your level right now. Like this is something where, okay, if you want to design it right now, you're focused on designing it, design it, outsource it, let somebody else print it, cut it, set it up. And then when it comes to setting it up, that's a whole other ball game. Like so many crafters, I'm seeing that they're focused on the design part and the printing and okay, it's just cutting. But do you not know that you have to set it up? It doesn't just stand up by itself. It's for something that's outside. You can't, and it's lightweight. It will blow away with the wind if you do not properly secure it. So you have to then know what to do to the back of it to secure it to the proper polling, to have the proper weight for it. Like it's not just design and throw it up, but everybody, because one person's seen it, now everybody wants to do it. Like having those types of conversations might not be something that you're going to do now, but really getting the information. That's what I really, really wanted it to be for, so that, I can meet with my community on a regular basis. I love doing the live videos, but I don't really get paid for that. And my time is valuable, just as valuable, especially when I'm giving as much game as I give. So the Creative Lounge was supposed to be that, doing it via Zoom. I didn't have to wait for people to type out stuff. They can unmute. We can have dialogue. That's essentially what I envisioned it being. Just hasn't been working out. Yes, they are already there. I actually posted that. Some of you guys, maybe you guys aren't following or you don't see my post on Facebook, but yes, they have been added to the template vault. You guys actually got it first. They've been in the template vault for a week. This just went live on the site yesterday, but they've been in the template vault for maybe a little under a week. The Silhouette version, no, it's probably been a week. The Silhouette version has been in the template vault for probably a week. But the other ones are coming. I'm going to add all of the other formats, the PDF if you're doing Canva because it's set up for frames, and the Photoshop version. The only thing with the Photoshop version is I'm like, I don't want to necessarily like stress over it. I'm hoping that those who utilize the Photoshop version would know how to actually design in it. So it has all of like the spaces and the areas for it, but you then have to know how to design. And I'm like, do I really want to go through like If I do that, I would probably make that more of an additional um, template you have to purchase, because going in here for all of these layers and creating the smart object layer for it to where someone would just kind of click on this and then add in their background. So let's see, who can I add to this? Let's see, who can I add? Who can I add to this? Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong section. I need PNGs and JPEGs of people. Here, in honor of them, beefing, not saying honor of, but, I don't like the fact they're beefing. We'll just add some city girls to this. I'm like, my sister loved the city girls. And like, they were beefing. So let's say like I was making a box and we're going to put city girls and we're going to add another layer pulled. Actually, you know what? No, I should have just did. Let's add a solid color and let's do, I like that pink one. So let's just do that, right? And then we close it out. Yes, it's going to, oh wait, which one is that one? See, it's going to fit right in there. So you would have to know how to design and have all that set up. Now, if I have to go in and like set up all of the smart objects and this, that, and the third, then that's like, it's a lot of work to do that, because I don't necessarily have to do that in Silhouette Studio. Now you go and let's say you just bring this in, because it's one big thing, like it's not cut down. So like when you click on a smart object, it's just the size of that panel. So even if this goes out, you don't see it, right? Wherever this is, once we close it out, is exactly where it's going to be at. But if I were to bring in that same image just to the regular Photoshop page, so see how that goes outside, how I would have to make that fit is I would have to create an outline, then do a layer mask, like get the outline of this part here, then do a layer mask. Hey. We're going to Control T, shrink you back down. Okay. I'm going to go to this layer, Control, and then we're going to come back to this one and then do a, oops, wrong one. It's actually, wait, Rabbit Panel 2. So it will be this one. And then I would do a, why are you not doing my layer mask? Huh? Okay, wait. Shrink it down. Okay. Oh, that's why I'm on the wrong thing. They are where this is City Girls. Okay, that's theirs. Bam. There we, oh, dang it. Come on. Okay, there we go. Here's the City Girls image. And there we go. So I would have to go through all of that to get it to, like, you would have to know that that's what you have to do, unless I go in and make all the smart objects and then you design over there. And then when you come in, it's already going to be cropped to that size. I also have to make it a clipping mask. So that would be like a lot. These are things that we will definitely learn in the Photoshop Essentials. Hey, Jesse, we're just talking about that. So we are doing a part 2 or refresher to the Photoshop Essentials. I know that you are enrolled in Photoshop Essentials, so you have access to the new Zooms and can be able to come in and participate. So just check your dashboard and you should see the link for the new Zooms, and we start back up May 21st. All right, so I got your paper on the roll. Is it best to cut the size I need to print, or to be too hard to have the roll pulled? You cannot. The regular standard printers do not have a stop to it, like the ones that are meant to have rolls. The smaller format printers are not designed to be roll printers. They are sheet fed printers. So you have to. So it's not a matter of it being, would it be best? You have to cut it down to the size that you want to print to. Great advice. I learned to stop following every craft idea and trend and narrow my focus to master a few things. I found myself with a house full of things I couldn't use and less money in the bank. Facts. Straight facts. When you're in craft groups, especially groups that have a large number of people, one, you're going to have those who are trying to find their way. So they are trying out a bunch of different things, and they're not necessarily like doing business. And they are going to be spending a lot of money trying to try out everything that they see someone else do, like someone else is doing. They haven't found their lane. They haven't found their niche. They haven't identified who their target customer is and, who they want to really sell and market to. So you're going to see a lot of stuff filtering, like flowing in and out of these different groups. And if you're a part of multiple groups, you're going to have one thing going on over here, something else going over here. Some of the trends cross over, like the mommy frames and stuff. Oh, which we do have one of those, coming out. That's coming out. I'm waiting for them to be finished being labeled so that you have all of the letters. We have them with right now. There's 2 different fonts that there's to choose from, and each one of them comes with the holes for like R, D, P, stuff like that, and then other ones where it doesn't have the middle part to it. So we have that in, of course, all formats: Silhouette, PDF frames for Canva, and SVG. I don't have a Photoshop version of that one. I don't think I'm going to do a Photoshop version of that. You're either going to have to use Canva or you're going to have to use Silhouette Studio for that one. But that one is coming. But when you have like all of these different trends, and some people, they only create based off of holidays and seasons. They don't know how to market and sell, like just for everyday things, and how to reach people for just the everyday things in their life. If they're not making something dedicated towards a theme or a holiday or a season, they really have no direction. So they're always seeking and looking for crafts that are related to themes, seasons, and stuff like that. So that makes it where it can be overwhelming for someone that's in the group, and you end up feeling like you're being left out because you're in a group with tens to hundreds of thousands of people and you're seeing all these posts. You feel left out, but you have to remain focused. If you know that you already started working on something, these things come back around. This mommy frame is not anything that's new. Even the method in which they are using it and putting on there, it's nothing new. They were doing it last year. The vending machines have been trending since the pandemic, really. So for about 4 years, it's still going to be trending. If you could not do it this year, it is fine. Stop letting people make you feel like you're going to be broke. You're not going to be successful if you don't jump on these trends right here, right now. Learn it. And that way, when it does roll back around next year, you'll be ready for it. Because I promise you, once one person, like, people aren't thinking about the vending machines. The minute one person post about them for Easter, everybody and their mama now is jumping on them. People could have been making these boxes and these vending machines for birthdays, anniversaries, baby showers, hell, Christmas, which is the biggest time for crafters. They could have been making them for for fall, for whoever, whatever. But they only become trendy at Easter time. And they're going to become trendy again next year. You're not losing out. If you were already focused on something and you had, like, if you don't have any orders going on, you don't have anything going on, okay, maybe jump on what is trending. But if you're working towards building something, like you're actively working, you might not be where you want to be at, but you're actively working on building something and setting the foundation for your business to be successful. Don't lose focus by all of this other stuff, because these trends come right back around. This mommy one, it's been the same design. Now it's just, oh, they're putting it in a frame. It actually, to me, has gotten cheapened down or like watered down compared to how it was being used before. Before, people were doing it and they were doing like the full on shirts, or they're putting it on tumblers. Now it's like, okay, yeah, just print it out and put it in a frame. Print it out, put it in a frame. Like, some people are doing it on canvases, but it's nothing new, guys. I promise you, if you stay focused, you'll still see the reward. You'll still see the growth and the elevation. You'll still see the sales if you're setting things up properly. Because what then happens is, those who rush to get a website, you now don't even know how to incorporate that into your website because you got too much stuff going on. So that's just my little soapbox moment for today. Let's see. I sent them to you the same day I asked you, girl. You been had them. They came, well, maybe it was because they came from the Gmail one, because it had to go into a Google Drive because the file was too big. But yes, I sent them. It should come from hsink365 at Gmail. Yes, I'll be getting the foam board display box. So, like I said, we have the Photoshop version. There's the Canva frames that's ready for you to kind of add your backgrounds and stuff to it. And you also have my favorite, of course, the Silhouette version. That's why I want to learn, so I can use my Cameo 3 and 4 that I never use. Now, that's something that is worth investing in learning. If you purchase the equipment, we definitely need you to learn the software so that you can create your designs and set them up to be able to efficiently cut on your machines, because especially if you have two of them. Yep, definitely have FOMO. Evergreen projects are gold. I've been stalking you, Professor. I need that knowledge and I'm willing to pay. Knowledge is power. And baby, you got knowledge. You know them Epson printers better than Epson. And maybe a little something like that. A little something, little something, little something. Yeah, check it. I definitely sent it. Like I said, it will come from hsink365 at Gmail, because the files were too big to send. I was trying to send it via the regular mail and it didn't send. So I was wondering, something told me to check with you, because I'm like, I know she would have said something to me by now. I should have checked to see if you got them. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. I'm going to put up any banner, y'all. Don't judge me. I need to just check something. I don't have two monitors anymore. Here, we'll put the Photoshop Essentials one up, because that class is active again. You can sign up. You can start watching the videos from the last sessions, and the new sessions will start up May 21st. Your email address ends in H99, right? I did send it to the right person, correct? Hopefully I did. I mean, I copied it from my other one, but yours ends in, it ends in H99. Or did somebody just get some free files? All right. Any other questions? Quite a few guys. I'll make sure that you guys click out of the chat and give this video a thumbs up because majority of the people are watching from TubeU. So make sure that you guys click out of the chat, go over, give this video a thumbs up, help that algorithm out. Let's help push it to the top of, the feed for YouTube so that people get this information, know that, the professor's live. So definitely like the video, okay? And we are still answering questions. So if you are watching, you've enjoyed the answers, that they've been helpful for you, you can add to the knowledge that's being given and add to the gems that people will receive by asking your own question. The chat is open. Graduation is already kicking my butt. So that investment for that master program is paying off. Is that what I'm hearing you say? Are you telling me that your investment into 365 Creative Academy's School of Graduation Customs Master Program, I know that's a long name, that investment is now paying off? That's what I'm hearing. Yes. Okay. Yes. I don't use Photoshop, and I was wondering if I'm already designing in Silhouette, should I bother to learn Photoshop? I'm afraid of being overwhelmed. Okay. Good question. Amazing question. It just depends on where you want to take your designs to. So if I go back to, the file that was here, I'm going to just go over to, how can I, let me see, I'm just going to bring them back in again, right? So we're going to bring this over here and pop it in, right? And we're just going to rasterize this. If you were doing like this, I use Remove BG. I pay for Remove BG because I just feel like it removes backgrounds better. Does Photoshop have a background remover where you're supposed to just be able to click it and remove it? Yes. Is it always the greatest? Absolutely not. So I end up paying for another program to be able to remove my backgrounds with ease. But you can use Photoshop. Like just because the automatic button does not work, it doesn't mean the other features within the software, like your magic wand, your quick selection, your pen tool, things of that nature. If you mask and hit select subject, that might pull it out, really select the image depending on how the foreground and background contrast, it may pull it. So you can save on maybe having all of these different subscriptions by having Photoshop, and you can use it to easily or professionally, let me say it that way, not say easily, but professionally remove your backgrounds. In the grad master program, I showed my students a website where they can create what looks like faded edges on the bottom of their pictures, but it does have its limitations. If you have something like Photoshop, you're able to come in here, add your layer mask, go over to your brush. We're going to switch this to black, make this a little bit bigger, make it a softer brush. And we're going to fade off the bottom of this particular image, right? If you end up getting Photoshop and you only use it to enhance certain designs, right? So if we used it for this so that we can blur it off so that we did not have a sharp edge. If we wanted to add drop shadows to things. Now, some people may use Canva and, it's like it can be a hit or miss with using like Canvas. But if we want to then go and add a drop shadow to this, we can. So I'm going to bring that sizing down, fix our spread. I can change. I'm going to change. I don't want to use global light. I want to be able to move it. right? So I can add a shadow to it, right? I can do embossing on things. Do I have Ziny Mani's? Let's see. Do I have it still here? I don't know if I still have Ziny Mani's name still up here. Oh, so okay, so here we go. So I originally designed this in Silhouette Studio because it was easier for me to conceptualize, just being able to do arches and things like that. And then there's a way where, you know, you basically take that, you bring it over into, so you have to have business edition. Where if you just, like something like this is just plain and simple, I don't have to go through Illustrator. I can just save it as a PDF, open it over here, separate the layers, and then I can add embossing and different things like that to it. So to enhance, you know, what was once flat, I'm now able to add to it. I like to use Photoshop as an enhancer. Do I fully design in Photoshop all the time? Absolutely not. I'm a silhouette girl. I just feel like a lot of things to me are just easier. When I want to change the size of something, having to hit Control T to then size, like it can be very overwhelming for Photoshop, but the benefits of it for me outweighs that. I can use it to enhance just about anything. Then I take this, I save it as a PDF, as a PNG or a JPEG, depending on how I'm going to use it. And then I'll bring it back into Silhouette Studio. So the topper that I made for Ziny Mani's birthday, I started in Silhouette Studio. I brought it over to Photoshop to enhance it. Then I took it back to Silhouette Studio because I had to send it over there anyway. Some people will feel like, well, what is the purpose if, you know, like if I have Photoshop, what's the purpose of me even learning Silhouette? Like they'll see it like the other way. Well, there's things like offsets. You can't do the offsets the same and have like sharp corners. There's some limitations. People think that Photoshop is this powerhouse, but there are some limitations. So since I was going to have to do a print and cut anyway, me designing it all over here, then I have to take it over there and do X, Y, and Z. I just took the part that was enhanced, brought that over, and everything else. It's really easy for me. Like, regardless if I did it over here, I still would have to do a trace and detach. So I just did all that over there, lined everything up, and then just printed it out. So for me, they go hand in hand. Canva, I don't necessarily use it to create designs. There are other things that I like using Canva for, i.e., so if you purchase the foam board boxes, I tried out a different way of distributing those files to you guys, instead of just having it be a digital download, because sometimes people can't find that. So I'm trying out something new that I can do without having to pay extra money, because I don't want to have to get another app on my Shopify. So for me, using Canva, I created, let's see, where is it under this one? So I created this form that when you purchase it, you're going to get this PDF. This PDF has clickable links on it that will then take you to where the file is stored. Once I have to go back to the office. Once I do the instruction video, you can click on that. It's going to go right to an exclusive, detailed, almost like a mini class instruction video. Like that video that's going to be attached to that, you're not going to ever be able to find that on my YouTube channel. You're only going to be able to access it by clicking on this link. Once you have it clicked to the link, you can save it to, your private, what's the thing called? Playlist, so that you don't lose it. But it's not, it won't show on my YouTube channel, right? So I'm able to create something like this and be able to have the links, and it's just a little bit easier. Stuff for my business. I'm working on a couple of ebooks. I'm working on some order forms and files and things like that, like resources to share. I'm working on some things for the Photoshop class. I like Canva for those things. I like it for marketing and branding. These images right here, are they still open on my, let's see if these are still open. Yes, they are. So the thumbnails for my website, I like to create in either Photoshop, and now with Canva. Canva to me is really great with creating website thumbnails and like YouTube thumbnails, although I still use Photoshop for my thumbnails. But me being able to set this up and have the shadowing to it, enhancing the color, because when I took the picture, they were kind of dark. So using it for things like that, I love Photoshop for, for those reasons. It just depends on, how you want to use it. Yes, ma'am. It definitely is paying off. I got yard sign stoles and shirts. Somebody even wants car magnets. Ooh, that's a good one for study hall. We can talk about how you can make some car magnets. Remember that one for study hall. I think I am gonna, even though we had one last week and we're not supposed to start every week until May. I noticed that on the Zoom it had the 28th on there, so I might still do the 20. I might still do Sunday. Bring that up. It was in spam. Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, awesome, awesome. I'll look for it. But yeah, to answer your question, the way that I teach it, I'm not gonna overwhelm you with team too much. This is why I call it essentials. I know most of my audience is starting in programs like, Cricut Design Space or Silhouette Studio. I'm going to teach you Photoshop for how to enhance your, the things that you're doing, and make your life a little bit easier. Okay. What is your preferred printer for inkjet printing? That's a loaded question because, of course, I was an Epson girl. I went from Canon printers. I had a Canon printer, a multi-pass printer for many, 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 many years. But I had, hold on one second. Okay, my bad. I had to ask a question about MJ. So, what was I saying? So I had a multi-pass printer, which I absolutely love. So I started off as like a Canon girl. Then once my Canon one went out, I did get a Brother printer because at the time, Brother was like that main one that they were making remanufactures or like pre-filled cartridges that were cheaper than buying the Brother ones. And I'm not sure, I'm probably showing my age, but how many of you guys remember when there were ink filling stations inside, like Walgreens, Walmart had it. What was the other place? Not Eckerd's. Eckerd's is way before. That's an old school drugstore. It wasn't that one, but like Walgreens. I don't think CVS had them. I don't even see this around the time. I know Walgreens had it. Walmart had it like in their photo section, and it was somewhere else. I know we also had a place in the mall. So they had this like little kiosk where you could take your cartridges and you basically refill them with ink. Well, most of the times it was like the cartridges that was like just black, and then you had the colored ones or something like that or whatever. But then you had Brother was the first company that I knew of that had the individual colors, and you can go and like fill them up, or you can buy them like pre-filled. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing a lot of printing. This is going to save me. So I got that, but I did not really care for the way the prints were. I actually just realized not too long ago that my Canon was actually a pigment ink printer and didn't realize that. But the Brother one is dye-based ink. And it used to run. I used to have to spray acrylic gloss over it so that the pictures pop, like no matter what paper I was using. And it was just too much. I came across the Epson printers, pigment ink, water resistant, beautiful colors. You know, because it has toner powder in it, the color sits on top. It doesn't like completely like soak into the paper. Amazing, 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 amazing. Well, Epson lost their ever-loving mind and gave us the 7820, 7840. The black ink is horrible, and they're more so pushing their EcoTank printers. Well, at least the way Epson makes theirs, like their standard desktop ones, I'm just not a big fan of theirs. Now, the 16600, 16650, when it was the 16500, I actually kind of got my hands on one of those. I really love those, and they were not like the EcoTank prints they're doing now. I don't know. Once they went to like dye-based, it was just weird. So I didn't really have a printer that was affordable because that 16600 was $1,000. The 16500, when that one was out, was probably around like $800-900. I wasn't trying to spend that kind of money. To me, EcoTank printers is a scam. Like, you're charging way more for less printer. It prints slower, and you're telling me, okay, I'm going to get all this ink, but depending on how much I print, I still would end up having to buy ink. So I was just turned off by EcoTank printers and how Epson markets them. Now, they just kind of talked about it just being another option, but this whole, oh, throw your cartridges away. You still sell cartridge-based printers. So their marketing just turned me off when it comes to Epson printers. So I've been on the hunt looking for other ones. I had gotten the Canon Pixma just to kind of, you know, just see how their printer was. I was going to do it with EcoSolvent ink. Then Canon came out with pigment ink printers. So I'm kind of switching, even though they're EcoTank, I'm switching over kind of, sort of, like as my Epsons go out, I will not purchase. Right now, I still have 7720s and 7210s. So I'm not in the market to buy a desktop printer. But once those go out, my purchases will be Canons. I did get the Canon TC20, which is a large format 24-inch printer. It was $600, you know, set like $695. So $700, I think, somewhere in there, or maybe $649. Somewhere in there. Was under retailer was like, without taxes and shipping, all that stuff, it was under $700. And it's 24 inches, where Epson is charging $1,000 for 13 inches. So yeah, I'm in a transition period right now. But one thing I can say is I'm not an HP girl. Don't ask me about HPs. I just don't like them. Other than their laser printers, I don't do HP. Someone says me. So yeah, we all gonna show our age. Yes. So I have not been able to use it. So let me tell you what happened. One, my silly self forgot to order paper for it. The roll that I have is actually a 36-inch roll. Somebody, you know, I asked them, because they're standing behind me, to cut it down. Because he has power tools, and that's what we did last time, you know, with my other stuff is, you know, he uses power tools to cut it down. You know, it still hasn't gotten cut down yet. But I happen to have a roll of HP 24-inch roll paper. So I'm actually going to be able to start with that. So my issue with using it was, your girl, it doesn't come, like, they don't even give you starter paper with it. I was like, dang, y'all could at least give some starter paper. Then I had to think about it. Well, that is the difference between Canon and Epson, because Epson darn sure give you some starter paper, but they charge you an arm and a leg for it. But they do at least give you some starter paper to make sure that you can actually use your printer. So I guess that's a case of you get what you pay for, because it's only $600. You don't get no paper. So since I forgot to do that, I couldn't use it. I set it up and it was like, wait, I got no paper. And then my computer messed up a little bit. I think it was when I set that up. So I have to disconnect. I'm going to redo it. Probably do it today. I have to reset it up and re-put the drivers and stuff on. And then I found the HP 24-inch paper. So I'm just going to use that one and get it all going. So technically, I have not used it as of yet. It's set up. There's ink in it. One of the things that I do love is when I looked at the ink, it looks to be the exact same colors, and it should be like the same type of profile as our pigment ink. So I won't have to buy theirs, because their ink is hella expensive. I will have to keep their bottles, which they should be there, so that I can then put our ink inside of it and then fill it. But I looked at it, I compared it. I really can't see any difference because it is a pigment ink printer. I don't see any difference in it. So I'm excited to print my first print. I'm going to actually keep that print. And then once I put, honestly speaking, ink in it, just kind of comparing the colors. So I'm super excited for that ink to run out that's in there now so that I can put, honestly speaking, pigment ink in it. But it is a pigment ink printer, so it should, be okay. It's not like when people were asking me, can I put pigment ink in a 2803 or 4700 or 48, whatever? Can I put pigment ink in a 15,000? Those are dye-based printers, so your colors are going to be very much so off. Whereas this is a pigment ink printer, so just putting pigment ink in it, we shouldn't see a difference. So I'm excited about that. So it has a thermal print head. You cannot use it for sublimation. I know there's a guy that's on Facebook that used his for sublimation. I don't know what the long-term effects would be like with his prints because it uses heat to expel the ink. It's a printer that uses heat. Heat. There we go. I'm not gonna say it's a thermal print head because that's kind of like what your Rollo is, like a thermal printer, but it utilizes heat. It's not a heat-free printer. And when it comes to sublimation, you need a heat-free printer. So it'll just be a regular printer, pigment ink, regular printer. When it's time for me to get a 24-inch or a larger sublimation printer, I'm going to get the F570. So while we're waiting for the next question, as you guys can see on the screen, these are the thumbnails that I created. The files, if you have access to the template vault, they are already there for you. They're under foam board. If you don't have access to the template vault and you just want to purchase them a la carte, they are available on the website if you are interested in doing the foam board display boxes. Mine does not have the selection panel like a vending machine. It's technically the same way. If you guys saw on my page, I use these particular ones as a display box for cupcakes for Zion Imani's birthday. But you can put anything and you can decide how big or how tall you want your shelves to be to put other things in there. But I just call them display box. I've used them in events for many, 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 many years. I've put candy apples and cupcakes and all sorts of different things on these, and this just has a front part. I love them as a cupcake box, especially if you're going to be around kids. God bless you, because it keeps germs from getting on them until you're ready to distribute the cupcakes. So for me, I just call them display boxes. You don't have the vending machine. If you want to use it as a gift box of sorts, you don't have to have that selection panel. I mean, to me, that just takes away from the available area to put things. There is no push to this one. They are just display boxes, and they come in 4 different layouts. Those who have taken my foam board class, you guys know about the rabbit tool to make your edges where there's no foam, but I've also made it for those who don't have, those tools. You can do it in a couple different orientations depending on how you want how you want it to look. And that was kind of example there. When it's all to the inside, the top part is inside, you see foam all the way around it. Whereas the setup where it's an outside inside setup, you only see the foam from the front panel and the back panel, and that middle one, like, it's solid and it goes all the way across. But then on the sides, see the inside here, you see just like the same way the top is here. You only see 2 sides of the foam. But if you do the outside inside, which over here, you end up seeing it all the way around. The only way that you like to avoid this is to do the rabbit, but we also included, let me zoom out on this. You have full bleed design panels. So you would just print these out to have them to cut your foam board, but you can either design on these or just print these out black and white, put them down, cut them, or you can design here. And when you print these out, they will cover up the foam. Like they are a full bleed edge to edge, and you would just adhere it to where you wouldn't see the foam. But that's going to end up being in the instruction video that I'm actually going to record tomorrow, actually. Oh, you heard him way over there? That was even that sneezed. Dang, you heard him way over here? From way over there? But this is available on the site. And the essentials of Photoshop is also now, well, you can always purchase it, but the new dates have been released for essentials of Photoshop. So if you click on read more, your dates are here for essentials of Photoshop. We will be back live via Zoom teaching it live with unlimited access to the playbacks. When you sign up, like if you sign up today, you can start learning today. You have access to the first time that we did it. So the 7 sessions from the first time that we did it, you have access to those as well. So you can start watching those and familiarizing yourself with Photoshop. So you can start learning the day that you purchase it. But we'll be back live starting May 21st. Last call for questions. Last call for questions. And your questions can be on anything, any craft method, printers, business, websites, branding, marketing, troubleshooting, designing. If you have a design question for Silhouette Studio, like how to trace something, how to crop something. If you have one for Photoshop or for Canva, you are more than welcome to ask those questions. Dang, he sneezed loud. Either that or I have a really good microphone. Ooh, why does it say one time, buy now, pay later? That's not what that should say. I'm gonna have to fix it. It's supposed to say buy now, pay later, not one time though. Last call for questions. Quite a few of you guys watching. Don't just sit on the sidelines. If you know that you need help and you can't afford to book a one-on-one session with someone, and you're saying, I need help, now is the time to ask those questions. You don't have too many. Most people that come on here, they come on, they show you something. They don't really or they may answer a few questions based off of what they are showing you, what they want you to buy, what they want you to enroll in. I'm offering you no conditions. Like there's no conditions to this. I'm promoting and letting you know this is available, but you don't have to purchase anything. And it's open. I'm open to answering any questions that you may have. It's not too many industry experts that offer this. What is the difference between Honestly Speaking Ink and Sublimation compatible? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. All of it is Honestly Speaking Ink on our website. Now, if you mean Formula B, That was just because now honestly, like the signature formula, the colors are a little bit different. They sent us one that was like a generic sublimation ink, so that was Formula B. Being the fact that EcoTank printers don't EcoTank printers use dye-based ink anyway. Your colors are going to be off regardless. It doesn't matter which ink you use. So that's what you're referring to, our signature ink and the Formula B, which is why Formula B says for EcoTank printers, because it doesn't really matter. Our signature one was more so for the 7710, 7720 series, because it was completely formulated to match the pigment ink color profile. And we had a special formula that we actually helped create. We didn't just go overseas. I mean, just pick a company overseas and just have them white label it. I actually played a part in creating our formula, but there was like a shipment where they sent us basically our full order of this wrong ink. So we just, instead of just wasting it, it just became Formula B. But all of our listings have full-on descriptions of them on them. So that's what you're referring to. But sublimation compatible, not sure how, is that written like that on the site? Not sure. I don't think it's like that. I think it just says Formula B, or honestly speaking, ink. Is there a color profile that can be used for sublimation printing from Photoshop? There's no such thing as a one like profile. You know, I'm always going to advise that you use a color chart. The only way to ensure that your colors are going to be what you want them to be is to use a color chart. There's no way around that. Professional designers refer to color charts all the time. Like that's a standard in the industry, because every monitor is different. True color profiles. Now, when a company is making like, their ink, like it's made for certain firmwares and like how it mixes colors and things like that. But a true color profile is really based off of it's to calibrate your monitor to the printer and to the media. You can print to glossy paper and it will have one look. Go to my page. I give you guys this information. I share these nuggets with you guys. I feel like maybe I should just put it in an ebook. Instead of just putting it on Facebook, maybe I should put it in an ebook. My only thing is information changes all the time. But I actually just made a post and I was showing the exact same print, printed at the exact same time. I think the second glossy paper got picked up or something like that, to where when it printed the second time, it printed onto matte paper. Colors look totally different. You can really tell in the dinosaur. Totally different. That is what will happen. If you have coated paper versus uncoated paper, it will be different. So what most professional printers are doing is they've gone and they've done it to where if I'm sending a design, let's say they have multiple printers. If I'm sending a design to this printer with this media, I'm going to use this color profile. They can have that exact same file, but it's going to print on a different printer, and they're going to use a different color profile so that those two prints from the two different printers, they are as closely matched as possible. But your color profile is really about calibrating your monitor to the printer and to the media that you are printing on. I've said this, many a times. If you walk into Walmart, Target, Best Buy, anywhere where they have a bunch of TVs on the wall, they can all be playing the same thing, but the color on it, the clarity on it, the definition on it looks different. The same thing for computer monitors. If you have a cheaper monitor, your colors may look different than someone that has this super industrial gaming, has full of backlighting and all sorts of things, right? It's a high definition monitor. Your colors are going to look different. The colors will look different from your phone to your computer. So someone just having a standard color profile could potentially make your colors inaccurate. We also have to remember that our eyes are not the same. How you see something, somebody else will look at it and be like, wait a minute, that's a totally different color. Whether they have perfect vision or maybe their eyes are a little bit different, so that when they look at it, they're going to think that you lost your mind because their eyes sees it differently. There is no standard color profile. I don't care what anybody tells you. If it says Sublimation compatible, then it's Sublimation ink. Anything that says Sublimation ink is Sublimation compatible. Honestly speaking ink, we don't have just an honestly speaking ink. We have an honestly speaking Sublimation ink, and we have an honestly speaking pigment ink. Now, if the question that you're asking is the difference between pigment ink and sublimation ink, those are two different things. But our honestly speaking products, we carry sublimation ink and we carry pigment ink. No, the TC20 is not used for sublimation. It is not a heat-free print head. When I'm doing sublimation, I print from both printers and choose the one with the colors I'm wanting at that time. Wait, which two printers do you have? Do you have like a Workforce and an EcoTank printer? Okay, my question to you is, I'm guessing you're trying to figure out which one to purchase. Which printer do you have? That would be, instead of trying to figure out what's on the website, let me know which printer you have and I'll tell you which ink you need to get. Yep. So that's what's going to happen. EcoTank printers and Workforce printers, they do not print the same. Your colors will be different. It can be the exact same print and you send it to both of those printers, and for certain designs, especially depending on where it was designed at and how it was designed, the colors will be totally different once it's actually sublimated. Okay, so you just need the regular ink. Don't go to Formula B. You just go, honestly speaking, sublimation ink. That's all you have to go to. Formula B says for eco tanks. So we go here, we're going to go sublimation ink. So, I guess that's what you're asking. This was just because it was individual colors. That's all. That's the only difference in this. These are all individual colors. This is not a set. So you would pay for each individual color. And then this is the full set. Which, why is it showing? Why are you showing? Yeah, of course it's not available for what's name. So that's all. So that's the only difference in this. This is a full set, and the other one is individual inks. And then this is the one for eco tanks. And I think this has all of them. So you either do like 4 colors, 6 colors, or the individual colors. That's the only difference. But yeah, when you're on it, that will be the only difference, is individuals and sets. That's why this one doesn't say full set. All just individual colors. These are pretty much for SEO purposes. I wonder why this one is showing. Why is this showing HS Ink Digital? Maybe that's why let me see. Okay, no, this one is here. I wonder why is it showing HS Ink Digital instead of showing this one as the main one that it can be fulfilled from the fulfillment center. I don't know why. I got to look into that because this should not be here. Selling t-shirts, vinyl and rhinestones at a craft table. I have a couple of mannequins. How should I plan to make sales? I'm not fully sure what you're asking. I need a little bit more clarity because when you're saying how should I plan to make sales, should you have order forms? If you want to have it where whatever you don't have available at the table, they're going to order it and then, you're going to get their, but I'm not sure if you're going to do like pickup. The only thing with doing an order form is shipping, right? When I say I am not, I strongly, some people will disagree and they like a flat rate shipping. Unless it is going in a flat rate box, I am not a fan or I am not an advocate for a flat rate for shipping because you don't know if someone's going to order 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is again, my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. It may not be your way of thinking, but for me, when people do a flat rate, I feel like they are of the mindset that someone's only going to buy one of something. They're thinking too small. So you may go like, oh, well, to ship one, it only cost me like $6 or whatever. And then some may think, okay, well, if it costs me $6 a print, if I'm shipping 5, I'm just going to take 6 times 5. I don't know too many people that's going to pay that kind of money, which it really doesn't go like, by that. You have to know the weight because it's a certain amount up until a certain weight. So if you might be able to fit 3 tumblers in a box and ship it for that same $6. And then when you add on 3 more, it may not double it. It only go up a few bucks to where maybe now it'll ship for $10. You never know that. So you can either lose a sale because now you're giving them a really, really high shipping, or you are going to undercut and you're going to lose money. I also, which I teach in my business class, I'm not a big fan of small businesses using the free shipping model, because if something happens or, there's a mistake, there's a refund needed or whatever, you don't have it anywhere that it's going to be minus like shipping because you said it was free shipping. To a customer, that means that you're going to eat that cost. So if I have to get a refund, you're going to still eat that cost. Whereas when somebody comes on my website, they order something and, it's clear in our terms and conditions that shipping is not refunded. There is a line item that says exactly what their shipping was. So they know that they should not be expecting that to be included in a refund, just the amount of the order. So if you're taking orders to be shipped, it's a little bit harder to know what that shipping should be. Now you can take orders and then you can go and say, we will contact you to finalize it, for shipping, or maybe take a shipping deposit and then they will pay the rest. So you have to really figure out like how you want to do that if you plan to ship. If you're like, okay, well, I'll make it and then they can pick it up locally. Well, are you going to have a centralized location where they're going to pick up? Are you going to let them come to your home to pick up? Those are things that you have to think about with doing like the order forms to place orders for things that you don't have on site, or be okay with whatever you decide to pre-make and have on site. Once that's sold out, it's sold out. you have to kind of decide that for yourself and how you want to do it. Okay, I don't want to make a bunch of stuff and not sell them. So then that means you are looking to more so take orders. You have to now decide if you're going to do a flat rate shipping to where they're going to order it and they're going to pay for the order and the shipping all at one time, or are you going to have an order form which will at least put down what their request is, and you can probably have them pay a deposit to ensure that they're not going to flake on you, and then you'll have to follow up after the fact to finalize it. Be able to go on to Pirate Ship or ShipStation or Shippo, whatever site you use to calculate the shipping, and then give them a final invoice price for them to pay in order to have those items produced and shipped. So it'll be work for you there and then more work for you, on the other end. What's good for those like who wanted to like orders like that, when you have a website, right? Because if you don't have something there, you can go have something that they can scan, they can go to your website, they can place the order for it right then and there. They can put in their address, you're capturing their email address, and it's going to let them know exactly how much it costs to ship from your location to them, and there is no question about it. So having a website is good. If another thing that you can do is, depending on the items that you would take, right? You can do a little pre-work beforehand, and you can create like a chart for yourself to say, but that means that you have to go into like Shippo and but hopefully, I mean, if it's a vendor show, hopefully they are local and it's not too many people coming from other places that you would have to ship it to. But you can do like whatever's, I want to say the furthest place, because that's not always the most expensive. What actually is most expensive is like those in the cut areas that it takes a lot to get to them. Because I can actually ship things cheaper to California than I can to certain places in like Mississippi or Georgia, which is kind of funny. But you can kind of get an estimate, create yourself a chart to say, okay, if it was one shirt, it's this amount to ship. Or let's say once you have the weight, you're putting it in there, you're going to put a fictitious address. I like to use 90210 because, the show 90210, I'll find an address over there and I'll add one shirt, the weight for one shirt or two shirts. And once it changes, that lets you know. So let's say somebody does order 3 shirts, you already know kind of around about how much the shipping would be, to ship out 3 shirts. It'll be the same for 1 to 3 shirts or 1 to 4 shirts, but you have to do that work ahead of time. This is something that you can use over and over and over again, but you have to make time to create that listing or create that reference sheet for yourself. Put it on an Excel spreadsheet, and that way, they have 1 or 2 shirts. You can even do it to where if you're taking shirts and tumblers, do one that's for tumblers or drinkware, based off of like the weight. And then you can also, or if you don't want to do it off of the item, do it based off of weight, and then have all of the weights for what you're going to present. Have all of those. So when they go and they have their order, you're looking at like you should have your own like notebook or clipboard that's going to have the weights for all of those. So they tell you what their order is, you're putting on the form, you're going to look at it, you're going to put, you're going to calculate all those weights. If it comes up to 2 pounds, then you're going to look at your list and say, okay, for 2 pounds, it costs this amount to ship it. You're going to write that on there, but it's going to require you to do some work on the front end before the date of the event. we had a discussion before. I should probably do that again. You know, why I don't, like, I know for some people it really works and some people do great. And there is a way to be very successful with some of these vendor events. But when you're making items like, and they're not something that you could sell any day of the week, it becomes, you know, harder to know like what to bring. But if you have like a branded product, you know, where it's like, hey, if I don't sell it here, it's fine. Like I can sell it, you know, on my website. I can sell it other places because it's not customized, not personalized. It's not just for an event. I'm not making stuff just, you know, within the theme of this event. I can resell them. So I might need to do another video on that. All right. I haven't seen any new questions posted in a while. So I thank you guys so very much for joining us for this week's live Q&A help session. This one was pretty good, to where I am encouraged to do it again next week. When we have the sessions and it's a little dry, a little dead, I'm like, okay, I won't have to come on here and, you know, no real participation, but you guys did pretty good. So we're gonna, you know, we're trying to get these back into the fold and on rotation and stuff like that. I might do an evening sessions. I know this is still like midday, you know, people are at work, and I say kind of like midday, it is midday and people are still at work. We may do an evening Q&A session to catch those who you're like, man, oh my God, I'm at work. I really got a question. I can't type it in. I just might come back this evening to do that. All right. So thank you guys once again. Our website has been up for a while, so you guys know where to go at to get all of our amazing, incredible sublimation products. Our paper allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. No butcher paper required for most applications because it does not bleed through the back. I even do my ovens in a regular standard oven that's in my kitchen because I'm not worried about it gassing out because it does not bleed. And then, of course, our ink is in 140 milliliter bottles. You get more bang for your buck. For all of your smaller format printers, you can do 2 full refills for all of your colors. All right, y'all, until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.